There was a small town away from the city. Outside the town lay a dense forest, about which old stories were prevalent. Stories of those nights when the moon did not rise and strange sounds were heard from inside the forest, especially near an old stepwell, where it was believed that a witch lived. Vivek and Ravi, two friends, were passing through the same town late at night. They had to reach an urgent work, and the GPS showed them a shortcut through the forest. While crossing the town, they stopped at a tea shop. The tea shop owner forbade them from going that way.
Sir, don't go through the forest at night. It is very dark and there is nothing good there, especially near that old well.
Vivek, who was a little educated and from the city, laughed at these things.
Hey uncle, these are all old stories. Ghosts, witches, all these are just illusions of the mind. We are in a hurry, we will go this way.
Ravi was a little scared, but agreed with his friend. He ignored the warning of the tea shop owner and turned his car towards the forest road. The road was fine in the beginning, but as they went deeper, the trees became denser. The light of the car's headlights was also getting weaker. The darkness was so dense that only black walls could be seen on both sides of the road. The forest was absolutely quiet, so quiet that the silence started echoing in the ears. Even the fireflies were not visible. Suddenly, the car's engine made a strange sound and the car stopped. Vivek and Ravi looked at each other. Vivek tried to restart the car as fast as he could, but the engine just whirred and stopped. He tried several times, but in vain. They were stuck in the middle of the forest. There was no network in the mobile. Vivek got a little nervous, but Ravi was more scared.
I told you, Vivek, don't go this way.
They got out of the car. The air outside was cold and smelled strange. The silence of the forest seemed more terrifying now. Just then, they heard a sound coming from a distance, the sound of a woman crying.
What is this?
Vivek listened carefully. The voice was sad, as if someone was in pain.
Looks like someone is in trouble. Maybe a villager has lost his way.
The sound was coming from deeper into the forest. Human emotion compelled Vivek to move in the direction of the sound. Ravi kept trying to stop him, but Vivek started walking in that direction. Ravi followed him fearfully. As they moved closer to the sound of crying, it was getting colder, though the weather was not cold. The shapes of the trees were looking more distorted in the darkness. Dry leaves were lying on the ground in such a way that as soon as you stepped on them, you would hear a strange rustling sound, as if something was crawling. The sound of crying was now coming from closer. The pain in the voice had increased. They reached an old rocky stepwell. It was not a moonlit night, so there was dense darkness around the stepwell. A woman was sitting on the platform of the stepwell. Her hair was disheveled, and she was crying with her head buried in her knees. She was wearing an old, torn sari. Vivek moved forward.
What happened to you? You are alone here so late at night?
The woman raised her head slowly. Vivek and Ravi's breath got stuck in their throats. That face was not normal. The skin was wrinkled, but its color was unnaturally pale. The eyes were red and bulging, with no emotion, just an emptiness. Most terrifying were her lips, which were spread in a terrible, wide smile. But there was no happiness in that smile, just a wickedness. And her hands, the fingers were long, thin, and pointed, like dry twigs, and instead of nails, there were black, twisted claws. The woman's crying suddenly stopped. Her terrible smile grew wider. Ravi screamed loudly. They started to turn back, but before they could run, the woman stood up as fast as lightning. Her back was bent, her shoulders were bent strangely, and then Vivek saw her feet. Her feet were upside down. The heels were forward and the toes were backward. She was not a woman. She was a witch. She started moving towards them with strange, jerky movements. Her gait was not normal. She seemed to be sliding or floating. A red glow was emanating from her eyes. Vivek and Ravi ran, screaming. The darkness of the forest, which had seemed merely dense before, now seemed demonic. The branches of the trees seemed like hands to hold onto. The witch's laughter from behind grew louder. The laughter was deafening, and the sound of her feet, the strange thumping of her feet on the ground was heard, and the sound was rapidly drawing closer. Vivek and Ravi were running, stumbling and falling. They didn't know where to go, just away from that horrible thing. Ravi was behind. Vivek looked back. In the darkness, he saw the witch. She was coming at an incredible speed. Her long fingers were reaching out for Ravi. Ravi screamed.
Ravi, run!
Vivek yelled. Ravi jumped with all his might. The witch almost reached him. Her claws barely grazed Ravi's shirt. They kept running, until they saw the blurred outline of a car in the distance. Their lungs were burning, their hearts were beating madly. They opened the car door, jumped in, and locked it from the inside. Vivek tried to start the car again. The engine wheezed a little, and this time, it started. Without a second's pause, Vivek drove the car down the forest path. They weren't looking back, but they could feel that the thing was still behind them. The silence of the forest seemed scary again, but now there was a tension in it. As they came out of the forest and saw the lights of the town, both took a long, trembling breath. They had survived. But the image of that witch, with her terrifying laughter, red eyes, and inverted feet from that night, was etched in their minds forever. They knew that what they had seen was not just a story. She was real. And she was still there, in that dark forest, in the old well, waiting. Even today, whenever Vivek or Ravi are alone in the dark, they hear a slow, sad crying coming from a distance, which gradually turns into a terrifying laughter.